OOP's family seems disappointed that he beat his illness. I'm not the OOP. OOP has deleted their accounts. Original. My family seemed disappointed I beat my illness. My little nephew confirmed my suspicions. The 10th of May 22. I am 47. Was diagnosed with cancer about 6 months ago. I don't know what happened, but I was misdiagnosed. It wasn't malignant as the initial diagnosis. Anyway, I'm recovering. I don't know why, but it felt like Mom, F73, and sister, F35, weren't all glad about me recovering. I didn't make a fuss, but I told my GF, F38, about my observation. She told me not to worry and that they were probably still in shock. We were invited to my mom's house last Sunday, and that's when my nephew, M12, was a bit angry and blurted out something about him thinking he was gonna be rich soon because I was sick. It felt like a gut punch. I'm child-free, so I don't really know when people start being assholes. But it felt like he's still too young for that, so the next explanation is that he's heard the adults around him. I laughed and looked at my family. They pretended that they didn't hear. Only my GF watched me in horror. I asked my nephew why he would think he would get rich when I have my GF. He was confused. I saw my sister turn around at that announcement. My GF spent the rest on the evening holding my hand, caressing it. Mom called the day after and she was dancing around the subject, trying to find out more. I never discussed my will with anyone, but what were they expecting? I've been with my GF for 13 years. She's the love of my life and my family. WTF is going on? I'm changing my will, excluding my nephews who I thought I would leave some for. It's going to charity instead. Update to my story with my family who seemed disappointed that I beat my illness. The 10th of June 22. So this blew up. I wasn't expecting that, and I can't thank you enough. The message is loud and clear. Marry your GF. In my defense, neither of us have ever thought about it. We're happy and we've always seen each other as each other's family. Unfortunately, that's probably not how the world sees us, and it's sad. About the will, I'm guessing the majority of you are from the USA. But where I come from, as long as I don't have children, nobody can really contest a will. My mom would be the only person who could contest, and it wouldn't work since only children's inheritance right is protected by law and can't be willed away. I spent all night yesterday reading your comments with my GF sleeping beside me. She woke up around 3 a.m. and smiled at me. God, I love her beautiful face. I just blurted out, "Will you marry me?" She smiled even more and said yes. And then snuggled up in my arms. I was in heaven. In the morning she asked me, "Did you propose yesterday?" With the biggest smile on her face, and I said yes. She said finally, with a twinkle in her eye, and then she kissed me. She then told me that she was here when I felt ready to talk about my nephew. I don't have any social media, but my GF does, and she shared that we're engaged. Mom called me 2 hours later to ask if it was a joke. She asked why now, and I didn't hold back. I told her that for the past 10 years or so I've been treated as a cash cow for my sister and her family. Always expected to pay, and only the most expensive things. My sister even insinuated that her oldest son, M14, is expecting a Porsche when he turns 18. And instead of acknowledging my generosity, they were disappointed that I didn't die. Mom started crying at this, swearing that it was all in my head. They're all so grateful and happy that I'm fine, but that I shouldn't forget that they're my real family. My GF is still young and she could move on with her life should the worst happen. But that they'll always be my family. Mom said that GF also has a career of her own and is childless, so she isn't in need. I might add that neither is my sister and her family. I told Mom, well, that my GF always been my family, and now she's becoming my family on paper too. Mom started crying again and asked me if I'm planning to disinherit the boys now because of a stupid comment made by a child. And if I did disinherit them, if that also meant I would disinherit my GF's niece. I told her that she should wait for me to die to find out. Shouldn't she? She said there's no point talking to me when I'm like this. She begged me not to do anything stupid and wished me good night. No congratulations. Nothing. Now what's left is to find my GF. No. My fiancé. An engagement ring. She's very simple and minimalistic. She wants something small and simple. Her only request is that I chose it. Please send any suggestions my way because I'm new to this business. I will put some photos of what I've found so far on my page since this sub doesn't allow sharing images. Tell me your opinion and give me your best rings. Damn, this got long. Sorry guys. Edit. Not gonna make another update. Thanks again for all the congratulations. It felt good to get the support. And thank you for all the suggestions about the engagement rings. Since neither of us like attention, especially my fiancé. What a beautiful thing to call her. We're eloping. She was very happy when she suggested that and found out I wanted the same. Instead, when I'm fully recovered, we're taking a long vacation to the Maldives or Mexico. Right now, I don't wish for anything else. Reminder, I'm not the oop. Wow, my family sucks ass. But even they would pretend to be happy that I recovered. What a painful thing to realize. I hope Oop and his fiancé will be very happy for a very long time. Imagine anticipating your brother's death as a financial windfall. The indignant entitlement. Probably had all kinds of gaudy trinkets on their post-death wish list, couldn't even celebrate his recovery. So greedy they didn't realize living longer equals more money equals more left to them. Wouldn't be surprised if the 12-year-old nephew is punished for making them fumble the inheritance bag. I hope Oop is able to get his finances organized so that when he does pass, there's just enough to take care of fiancé and the rest is spent on all the fun things and experiences Oop and fiancé want to do. At least Oop was able to choose a better family than the one he was born to. A family of two is still a family in my mind. My grandpa had a heart attack a couple of years back, and the first thing my uncle asked was about the will. My grandpa has 3 kids and his will is split that my mom and aunt each get 30%, but my uncle only gets 15% as he went bankrupt at a young age and my grandpa bailed him out. Then the rest is divided evenly between all the grandkids with a bit for other family, etc. However, my mom's share is being split between me and my 2 sisters as she passed away when we were kids. My uncle tried to claim first that he deserved an even share of the will, then that my mom's share should be divided between him and my aunt. Then he deserves more because he has more kids himself. And finally that my sisters and I don't deserve any of the grandkids' share because we get mom's portion. My grandpa told him to kick rocks or he'd cut him out completely. Then my sperm donor started sniffing around claiming he deserved mom's share. He was abusive to my mom and my siblings and I. Most of the family have been NC since mom died. 3 years on, grandpa's still going strong and recently told me he has changed his will. He hasn't given me all the details, but he assured me that my sisters and I will get our mom's share. Still, my uncle still keeps dropping hints. Money changes people and it sucks. Believe me, I would much rather have my mom back and not have my grandpa die than have a healthy bank balance. Fuck me. That is a horrifying thing to find out about the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally. He has a hell of a fiancé though, and I'm glad he realizes and cherishes her. When someone argues that marriage is just a piece of paper, get them to read this. The legal stuff, like next of kin, wills etc. is just so important when family is toxic. I wish Op and his fiancée many happy years together. And I wish his family nothing but karma. Kind of sucks that that's what it took to get him to propose. But we get a happy outcome and that's what matters. My mother reacted similarly when I said I was marrying my now husband. Rather than congratulating, her first words were, "How do you get divorced?" My simple reply was, "The same way you and your last two husbands did." She's not in my will. Never was. Never will be. I think she thought as I am gay I would die an early death. Standard trope in most older made gay movies. And my properties and money were her retirement fund. How much is that horrible family going to blame and torture the 12-year-old now that Oop has cut them all out of his will? As he should. They are a horrible family who deserves nothing from Oop, but I do feel for that kid. He's still young enough that he might still turn out okay, but I'm sure all the blame for this will be directed at him for his remark rather than reflecting on what monstrous people they are, that they would rather have money than their family member. I shouldn't forget that they're my real family. I had this when I married my wife. Your wife's family seem fun. But don't forget we're your real family. It's one of the worst things to come out of someone's mouth. It's riddled with disregard of your own agency and swelling with narcissistic mucus around what you may owe someone. What a horde of vultures and ghouls. What incredibly awful people. My sister died earlier this year. She left a non-trivial amount of money to the fam. I would still 100% rather have my sister. I'm glad the Oop has cut off the tap early. I'm super happy for Oop and glad that he and his fiancée have such a loving and supportive relationship. Also, congrats to Oop for beating cancer. I feel happy for the Op that he is finally getting around to marry his GF. It was obvious that she was waiting for him to propose. I was expecting Oop to become Walter White. This story is just as sad in my opinion. I'm sterile and one of my fears is being treated differently to the rest of my for not having biological children. I've had nightmares about it a couple of times. I'm glad Oop has his fiancée. GF clearly wanted to be married a long time ago. How was Oop so oblivious? If you're in a long-term relationship, situations like this are why it's worth getting a civil partnership or married on paper. In my country, civil partnership is for all couples, not just gay couples. So it's a great choice to get legal protections for couples who genuinely don't want marriage. Which Oop thought was his situation. But it wasn't. Good for Oop and fiancé. I'm glad he got to see his family's true colors and stopped being their ATM. His mom and sister can go sit on a cactus. Aw. So disappointed Oop has deleted his account. I was hoping to see the rings he'd been considering. Find it difficult to even call my brother who is well off for help even with how hard things are for me right now. Much less hoping he dies so I can have his money. That is just so horrible of Op's family. Congratulations to Op.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Heracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.